Good evening, everyone. Would you please join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynn, can you call roll?
Mrs. Gusky? Here. Mr. Burke?
Here.
Mr. Hand?
Here.
Mr. Grover?
Here.
Mrs. Sullivan? Here. Ms. Wozniak? Here. Mrs. Vanderwater?
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of our regular meeting held on September 3rd, 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Jen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Any citizen comments? Brandon. Come on up, Brandon. Good, how are you? I don't think it goes down. You can take the microphone out if you want.
Working? Okay. Hi, guys. Thanks for taking the time. I guess I talked to the supervisor and wanted to take some time as, you know, been involved and a partner with the town of Van Buren here since 2018 when we started the Traybrook community and the inception of it. And I'll be the first to acknowledge there was times it's been good, there's been times there's been bumps in the road, and I also think for ourselves as a company, we've evolved a little bit, seen things we didn't do well, things we have done well now going forward, and I'm really here just trying to somewhat clear the air. I feel that there's a little bit of tension from the town's perspective and us as a developer. Some I think is totally warranted, some I don't think is. One being that, you know, we've got a lot of work still to do. You know, I think things are starting to move along in the community over at Traybrook now, as well as obviously in the future we hope to do another community in this township that we have ownership of a piece of property. And I'm really here just kind of a Q&A and try to answer some questions on the town level and things maybe I can help to improve upon from an optics standpoint. Things, you know, that you guys have questions or concerns, because I've never really in front of the town board and usually in front of the planning board in certain items, and had some interaction with Darcy, with Wendy, and again, we're here to try to be a good partner to the town. Not saying we always have been a great partner to the town, but we somewhat like to try to turn the page and see what we can do to clear some of the air, so to speak, and that's why I'm here. So I wanted to take the time. I appreciate you guys taking the time, and that's really where I'm at. So again, I'm here to answer any questions. You know, from me, one of my things is I sent a request to the town on the OCHIP Act that's been presented from the county. Did not get a favorable answer from the board, and just wanted, that was what kind of spiked this for me to see how I could try to be a better partner so that going forward, you know, we don't have these, as I would call, bumps in the road. So.
I do have one question. How long do you think it'll take to finish Traybrook at this point?
So fortunately, I think in the evolution of our companies, we've somewhat gotten out of what I would call the home building business. We just stick to being a developer at this point, our heavy equipment company, and we have some spec houses we might do, but not the total direct customer relation where we had some struggles in the past. At this current point, every single family is spoken for as far as under contract. We've been out to the community. Obviously, I've been working with Jason. The what we call 2B, which is the 7 lots plus the 8 townhomes, that's being paved on Monday. All the other utilities have been done, besides National Grid, which we're just waiting on after the paving. The additional 22, which is Lexi Lane, we just currently finished all of our sewers, stormwater starting now, stormwater installation, which then follows what we call boxing the road, which is basically carving the road. Right now, the dirt is pretty darn close to grade. And Cornerstone, the home builder that's contracted those houses or those lots, has an agreement with us over the next 14 months that they will be entitled of all those lots.
All of Lexi, the rest of Lexi?
Yeah, so actually the current part of Dewport, they only have 2 left. So there's 5 sold. And I think they're planning on digging the first one this upcoming week, but the following week is what the owner told me. So it's obviously going to have a pave before they start bringing trucks in there. So I would say realistically, they're looking at there's an additional 14 where the old golf course entrance is. We call those patio home lots because there's a two-sided HOA when we did this back in 2018 that we filed with the Attorney General. They can still technically be single-family houses. They will be under the HOA, which takes care of lawn, snow, your siding, your windows, and your roof. So they'll have to fit within the covenants, but they can still build single families. The other 70 lots are what we call duplex or townhomes. So, we're going to be starting the first 8 townhomes to kind of set the precedent. I've got some renderings that just got done, some plans, happy to share them. So, to answer your question, with the current demand, I don't, fortunately, hope so. I hope things are going to slow down. It seems like they pick up, with the things coming to town. I would say realistically, we got about a 36 to 40 month window from every single one being fully occupied.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the last year, from this time last year, I think there's been 16 houses constructed in Tradebrook. And again, part of that was that we were trying to be a developer, the builder. We sold some lots to JMG, we sold some lots to Martin. And then, Cornerstone came along and they wanted to take the lion's share of them, and they've done a great job. They put them up pretty quick and keep it nice and tidy. So, we obviously acquiesced and let them have at it. And it's kind of the model that we've taken going forward on future subdivisions that we want to do. We kind of want to just be able to compartmentalize and, there's successful home builders in the community that wants, be a good developer, let them have the lots and bring people into our towns and, build houses. Let them build the houses, we'll just do the dirt work. So, and then I think, depending on the scope of the work, we have an 8-man crew. So we have limitations on how big of a project we would actually take on, but Tradebrook works pretty good for us in the sense our whole crew's there daily and make a pretty good time on it. So.
Thanks.
Yep.
So I have a couple questions. You said that you'll have planned out 14 patio homes by the entrance, and then that next phase is the patio homes or the duplexes. Who do you anticipate building those? Because you just said you kind of got out of the building arena.
We've got what I would call the direct customer custom home building. Like, for example, we've done 3 spec houses in Tradebrook this year. We've had pretty good luck with them. We just put the product up, and when it's done, people can take it. There's just a lot that had left. The townhomes is very similar to me as kind of doing the apartment project that we just finished on North Syracuse. We don't have a customer. We just have financing in place to build the project. So we build it, and then, when they're done, we put them up for sale. The single-family side of things, I don't really get into the, let me backtrack. We're not going to be in the business of the custom home build. This is, the kitchen faucets I want. This is the color I want. It's more, here's the product, and,
But you guys are going to build it. This is my question. Who's going to build it?
The first 8 we're building. And that's only because I had a few suitors, and nobody ended up going forward, and, we have a map filed, so I figured we would start the product that we thought would fit best. And that's what our plan is.
So you mentioned the bumps in the road. I'm just concerned because this is a different product than the single-family homes.
Right.
Do you feel like this won't be the same reiteration because have you done these before?
Well, so we just finished got CFOs on 2 apartment buildings over in North Syracuse. We did those ourselves. We've obviously built over 160 houses over the last 5 years. Not all have gone great, some have gone great. One thing that I think we struggled with was having too many projects going at the same time with too many different personalities. I actually think from a building standpoint, I use the house in the corner as a great example when you first come in on the right. Had the house finished, the customer brought the realtor, they came in, they wanted to paint the garage, here's your price, no problem, that was all they wanted, we closed the house, happy to go lucky. And fortunately for us, we've been good planners, we've got a good financial partner that allows us to build these without quote customer money. And I think a lot of other builders wait for the customer to come and then build what they want. And I think we can do a good job because these townhomes are just a planned product that we're not customizing, it's really just an execution project.
And so you mentioned that those by the entrance are on the plan to be patio homes, but they could be single-family homes.
So we use the term patio home as a sense of, if you look at the map, they're basically built like a single-family lot. They're 80 by 70, 80 by 200. When I say patio home, it's more just because I think of it as an HOA community. So in the sense of, if Cornerstone wants the contract to buy those for maybe 14, they have to fit within the guidelines of what we file, which is a certain window type, a certain siding type, a certain roofing type. And if they want those, that's great. If they don't, then they'll stay where they are and they'll find somebody that wants to build those. They're not under contract at this time, they've just been asking me about it.
So
Are they
I,
semi-attached, the patio?
No.
Or they are
They're
single?
literally, like, if
Okay.
you look at the plan, it'd be hard to distinguish that lot from a lot on Lexi, it's just because they're encumbered under that HOA covenants.
No, we definitely need the patio, one-level living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where I was going. I was just going to say, if, you came here for feedback, I would say we would like you to keep the patio homes because we do need a lot of,
Sure.
we do have people asking for single-family homes. And we just did a survey to our residents because we're revising our comprehensive land use plan. And I got the data on that. I'll show you. A lot of people, it was like number one or number two, they need market value, affordable housing.
Yeah.
So when we have developers coming in and wanting to do a development, but they say their price point's $400,000, that to me is not affordable housing. So if you could make this, keep it, the patio homes, and make it affordable for people, first-time home buyers, empty nesters, that would be wonderful.
So one thing, and I'm an open book, maybe to a fault. So I'm happy to show any plans. The plan that I had drawn from Rob Vanderwater, our architect, for the townhome side, is there's the first floor, we call them owner suites, used to call them master suites, owner suites. It's got two options. It's very simplistic. So the way it is, it's 1,400 square feet. Some, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, kitchen, great room, laundry room. Some of the lots are conducive for what we call a slab. So part of the way to keep the expense down that we've noticed, especially when it comes to these, I hear you, because you're not the only town that says this, blue in the face. When did 450,000 become entry level? It's just not. So one thing we have to do as developers and builders is, these are smaller lots, which helps us on a price point. But the other piece is like, for example, just putting a basement in a house right now, if you took a house that's 1,500 square feet, made a ranch or one level, the basement alone is about $35,000. So the problem to build a basement is you have to pour the floor, and you have to put wood in for your floor joists. When you do a slab, like they do in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, when you pour a slab, that is your base, that is the floor. So it's
Right.
a real big savings. So one
Yeah.
idea that we had, Rod's been working with us, is on this 1,400 square foot floor plan that I have without the possible upstairs, is we would do a slab on the townhome so that we can have a price point between 350 and 365. Still be a nice product inside with 9-foot ceilings, but 2-car garage, but try to get some of these things that maybe as Syracusans or upstate New Yorkers, we don't ever think we want a slab. Nobody wants a slab, but we have to get creative because there's only so many ways to build these. We have to keep price points down. I'm with you. I hear it every day. We put a product up at Traybrook for $485 for 1,600 square foot ranch. It's like, how's that entry level? It's like, well, unfortunately, that's the market.
I know.
And gee, it's the same way. So I hear you loud and clear, and we.
So now you're saying your 70 townhouses, your price point's going to be $365,000.
It's like 350 and 360.
It's a townhouse. I mean, we have townhouses over on Soft Wind Circle that are going for maybe 150, 190. So
But
if you can, you hear what I'm saying. I mean, our ask is to try to get to that market value, affordable housing for the rest of Traybrook if you can.
I'll be happy to show you everything. I'm even happy to show you what our costs are, and obviously, there's got to be some profit margin in there.
Sure, we don't need to see that.
But where I'm getting at is, I think if we get, you say it's 350 to 375 being your townhome, but I mean, if you look at anything else in Traybrook, there's been a thing that sold under 500.
Understood, and I think it deters a lot of people from coming in there.
I agree.
But you're selling them.
Not me, these guys,
Yeah.
they're selling like
Yeah.
hotcakes. So yeah, I agree. And I also think from a sales perspective, if we can create a product that's in that price point, I think it's because nobody hits that product anymore, you're going to have a lot of interest. But the flip side, and this is just me being a developer, is we also want it to be aesthetically pleasing. So we don't want to go in there and be down and dirty, and it's like, what is this? And so it's a yin and yang. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, you've set the tone for the character in there. Like,
Yeah,
you can't,
we got $1.5 million houses, and granted, God bless them, that's great, but that's not the norm. That's not your average person that wants a home, or an entry level, or a senior. I get that, and not just that, it's hard to sell 70, so you have to be able to hit a marketplace that's got, that type of income stream. And that's, I think the average right now is household, I think you've got, your average person's about 58,000, so if your household, if you have 2 working people, you're 116, so you don't want to be more than 20, 30% of your house costs, especially senior, probably less, so.
Right, sure. Any other questions? So we did, as a board, discuss this earlier, and we are going to maintain our position by not giving you the letter of support. We just feel like we just can't right now because of the history we've seen over at Traybrook.
I mean, and again, that's your decision, your prerogative, I get that. I guess it goes back to you guys asking me to do something to get these things more affordable. This is a county gifted money. It doesn't affect the township in any way. It's just to try to help us keep our costs down, as a developer. And I mean, again, it's your decision. We'll continue to try to be better partners. I think we work really well with Jason. I don't know if it's something we can revisit, if it's something you would revisit.
We can. I think it's important. That's why I wanted to know how much longer you had on Traybrook. I think that's the place where you can show us that, we can get to a better place.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
I mean.
that's fair. I'm good with that. We'll be able to, maybe I can come back end of the year, beginning of the first quarter or something.
Is there a deadline for that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a per lot basis, and they do it sometimes per community, and so no, it's not a deadline, and it actually doesn't get funded until the end anyways. It's not like they give you
Right.
a grant in the beginning.
Number of units.
See a vote and
Yeah.
everything else. So.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate the time, and again, if anybody needs to get a hold of me or has a question, I'm happy to do it. I know Darcy apologized with some of the stuff in the past, the Grego stuff. I didn't meet, set the bar wrong. I didn't meet my call it word, but it was a financial stress at the time, and I think we're through that. Again, if you have any questions, I'm happy to do it. We want to be a good partner in the town, and it's been a growing and learning experience for us, but I think we've got a lot of good stuff going on in the future.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Any other comments? Okay, great. We'll move on to the agenda. Number 1, can I get a motion to approve budget transfers and modifications per the comptroller's memo dated 9/16? I think these are pretty self-explanatory. As we get into the last quarter of the year, we are seeing where we have some shortfalls for perhaps it's a water district or retirement that we didn't properly budget for. So this is kind of right-sizing those budget lines.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mike, seconded by Roger. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to authorize the Justice Court to apply for a grant from Justice Court Assistance Program up to $1,500?
I'll make that motion.
And second it.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Charity. This is a grant that the court takes advantage of. I think this assistance program is offered every year. The grant is only $1,500, so they grab it, try to apply for it, and get it, and they can use it, whether it's computers, office equipment, or any other items that they may be able to use. I think there's specific qualificating, is that a word?
It is now.
Qualifications for what they can use it for. Motion made by Bob, seconded by Charity. Everyone all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, can I get a motion to move a resolution for the town of Van Buren to participate in the Onondaga County Illicit Discharge Detection and Elimination Program?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mike, seconded by Bob. Jason, could you just speak to that really quick?
Sure. This is a no-cost partnering with the county to do some of our MS4 requirements. We're regulated by the Department of Environmental Conservation for a bunch of stormwater things, and this is something that the county's been helping us with for probably the last 10 years, maybe more, and they're just looking for a resolution to keep our participation going forward.
Great, thank you. Motion made by Mike, seconded by Bob. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, assessor's report. Hello, Teresa.
Hello, I'm here to give you my quarterly assessment report, answer any questions that you have. On August 28th, we mailed 675 renewal applications for senior citizen and disability exemptions, and they were mailed to our property owners. The town of Van Buren received no new small claims filings for 2025. And the town of Van Buren received 1 new Supreme Court filing for 2025, and that is the Hay Solar Farm Company is challenging the Baldwinsville School District exemption opt-out and wants the exemption, which is, Not up to me, they have opted out twice, and, they're going to decide in court, whether they did it correctly. The town clerk's office and the assessor's office have been extremely busy due to our school bills going out a little bit late and missing bank codes on those school bills. So it's been a little bit of a mess. Senior citizen exemption renewals are being accepted and processed as time permits. And I am doing an additional review of completed applications for training purposes for the new clerk, just to make sure she's getting the gist, because this is her first exemption cycle. And some changes on the state level. The 2025-26 state budget included the following changes to the STAR program, so you guys are all up to speed. All of our STAR applications no longer appear on the state website and can no longer be accepted by the assessor's office. They have been eliminated. The state will determine new enhanced exemptions and notify the assessor. So if you have a basic STAR exemption and you're turning 65 or your income now qualifies you for the enhanced, the state is going to do the whole process and notify the assessor's office of what needs to be changed. They are going to be expecting homeowners with a change of ownership to update their information on the state online portal, which I'm sure is not going to go over well. And their only other option is to call state representatives. So I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy about the new changes, but I didn't pass the law. So more about that later. Renewal applications for our agricultural, nonprofit, firefighters, and clergy exemptions will be mailed in December. I will be attending the New York State Assessors Association Conference the week of October 6th, and this will give me 12 continuing education credits, which is a year's worth of credits. And to give you an idea of what's happening in Onondaga County, I will be continuing as the treasurer for the Onondaga County Assessors Association for 2026. Countywide updates. 4 assessors in Onondaga County in the past year have retired. 2 have left employment in Onondaga County, and 2 senior county finance department employees will have retired by year's end.
We need assessors.
Yes, we do.
Luckily, we don't. We're all set, right?
We talked about this. We had a countywide meeting yesterday for the County Assessors Association, and the state representative that was there doing his state report at our meeting, the state is very concerned because there aren't a lot of assessors getting into the training program.
Right.
And the requirements are very stringent of who qualifies and who doesn't. And none of us are spring chickens anymore, most of us. So the state is concerned that eventually we're going to have no assessor pool to pull, qualified assessor pool
Right.
to pull from. And Lysander should be okay, because right now, for those of you that don't know, I am training a replacement so that when I get to the point where I'm going to give up both towns, Lysander will have a candidate to be an assessor who's fully certified by the state and fully trained in the stuff that they don't teach you in class, the day-to-day operations, all the stuff that's not in the book kind of thing. And she actually has gotten all of her coursework done. She has one more course, week-long course to take. And then basically it's on-the-job training, because she needs 3 years of that before she's certified to be a candidate to be an assessor.
Is there an exam for that?
There's multiple exams. Each one of the classes that you go to it's like a stepping stone. You take one, and you have to take them chronologically because they make sense if you do it that way.
Right.
And I think you retain more. They basically, every week-long class or longer that you go to that's on that requirement list, there is an exam after each one. And the minimum qualification is 3 years of paid full-time experience in an assessor's office. Real estate people that just list properties don't qualify.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank
that's-
you for having the forethought to start this process, so she
Yes.
will have the 3 years
She
under her
already-
belt.
She came to me from Elbridge. She had already taken a couple of the required classes and what I would call the fluff, extra stuff. And so we kind of asked her if she, the supervisor and I asked her, when you grow up, you want to be an assessor? And she said, yeah, I think I can do that. So we got her on track right off the bat to start taking, and she keeps wanting to take the fluff, but I have been directing her to take the stuff that really matters, the stuff that the state's going to want to see. So, and she's on track, so hopefully all goes well. She was actually at the farm appraisal course in Auburn last week.
Great.
For one of her last classes.
Great.
Questions?
I have one. Teresa, the 675 renewal applications for the senior citizen and disability exemptions, is that an annual?
Yes, it is. That's the law, and that, yeah. Basically, the senior citizen and the disability exemption is what we call a limited income exemption. And in order to keep it, you have to, once you're 65, we know you're not going to get younger, but because it's income-based, we have to physically see what your income is every year for you to continue, because it's a convoluted chart of percentages. It ranges from 5% to 50% for either exemption, and it depends on where your income falls in that sliding scale, whether you get a 5% or whether you get a 50%.
Got it. Thank
Okay,
you so
so
much.
that's why, yeah,
What's
that's
the,
why.
what's the date that stuff gets filed?
They have till March 1st to bring everything in. Right now, we're doing them for our 2026 assessment roll. And so we mail them out in the fall, and they have till March 1st to get all of that in. And yes, it's a yearly thing.
That's mandated by the state.
Yes, it's the law, the exemption law, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
I did have a question. Your BAR committee, I think you have one of the members, their term is going to expire at the end of this month.
The BA, yes.
Are you renewing? Do we need to start looking for someone?
If memory serves, we're still down one member.
Okay.
If memory serves, we normally have 5, and I think we're down 1 person.
Yep, I think we only have 4.
Yeah, and I have not heard that anyone is not coming back.
So do we need to do a motion to extend their term, or
Yes,
So-
usually, I think, Lynn, don't we do that at the
organizational meeting?
Yeah, that's time enough.
Okay,
Even
so
though-
I don't need to do it now, I'll do it at the org meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's the
just wanted to make sure.
organizational meeting, Yeah.
Okay.
And-
Someone need-
And you might want to think about getting the 5th person, because, if we have a conflict, we're down to 4 now.
Uh-huh.
So if somebody's ill or we have a conflict, we could be scraping the bottom of the
Okay.
barrel.
I was interested too in serving, but I don't know what's required for, as far as training and education. So we can connect too and talk about it.
Yeah, I can tell you there's one class, I think it's a couple hours. They usually do it in Salina, town of Salina offices, and it's usually held in April. And once you do that, you do it like every 5 years if you're still a board member. You go to that class. It's put on by the county according to state regs, and you go to that class to learn about the BAR. And you have to go, the only requirements are, you must live in the town of Van Buren, and before you can sit for the Board of Assessment Review, you have to attend that county class. And then you're good for 5 years. And then if you get reappointed, or if you fill out a term, and then you get reappointed, then you have to go to class again. So every time there's a reappointment or a change, you do the latest version of the class. So that's the nuts and bolts of that.
It's easy, no test.
No test.
test.
No test.
How do you know?
I did.
He was on
You were
bar.
on the, I don't remember that.
He's our vacancy, probably, right?
I know because probably about 20 years ago, I actually took that class just to know what, so.
I'm sure it's changed over 20
I'm sure it has, but not a lot has changed.
Right.
But, some things have, yeah. But there was no test.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you in December?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 5, can I get a motion to introduce local law D 2025 and set a public hearing for October 1st, 2025 at 7 PM?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Jen, seconded by Mike. I'll just speak to this really quick. This is the local law D 2025 is the local law overriding the tax levy limit established by the General Municipal Law, Section 3C in the town of Van Buren. Chris, do you just want to kind of give an overview? This is just more of a housekeeping matter in case we go over the tax cap set by the county.
Correct. Yeah, this resolution will allow the board the ability to make the decision to override and have a tax rate set that exceeds the tax cap. And if you don't do this now, then you would not have that ability to do it. So it's simply a mechanism to give the board the option, if in reviewing it, they will want to have the ability to do it, so.
And if we ever or went over it, we would also be penalized, correct?
If you did not do this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
this-
it actually it would create a lot of chaos
Yeah.
without trying to get too far into the potential outcomes of it.
We have never exceeded the tax cap, nor do we expect to, but again, this is more of a housekeeping item just to make sure we protect ourselves. Any other comments or questions? Okay, motion made by Penny, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, and we'll get that on the next agenda for the public hearing.
I don't know enough.
Number 6, can I get a motion to move a resolution to update Chapter 13, the Town of Van Buren Town Code titled Comptroller, to set forth the position, salary, term of office, and residency requirement for the office of the Town of Van Buren Comptroller?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Jen, seconded by Roger. Again, I'll speak to this, and Chris, if I miss anything, let me know. This is just authorizing or setting the job description, salary, term, and residency of our position as comptroller. There was no description before, there were no terms before, so we felt it was important to set the record for a comptroller, and we're doing so. Anything?
Yeah, there's a baseline set of job duties that is set forth in state law that identifies what a town comptroller generally will do, but no town that employs a comptroller, because not all towns do employ a town comptroller. When you do, not all of them give the exact same job duties to a comptroller. There's a range of things that you can ask a comptroller to do, and so this will give a little bit more precision to what this town's comptroller is being asked to do and what the duties are, and just kind of add some clarity for her to know exactly what the expectations that the board have for her in terms of what functions she will perform. So this will just simply update the town code to make sure that that job description matches what's set forth in the code.
Okay, Lynn, can you do roll?
Mrs. Gusty?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yep.
Mr. Hand?
Yes.
Mr. Broder?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Lozey? Mrs. Vanderwater?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Sorry for our residents, that was a penciled in number 6 that wasn't on the agenda. And then I also have a penciled in number 7. Can I get a motion to accept a donation from a resident?
Yes.
Okay, for a park bench up at our Parks Department. This came in late notice, so I'm not really privy to everything, so I'm going to turn it over to our park chair, and she will share the information.
Thank you, Wendy. We received a donation form for a young father that passed away just recently, so that their children can have a memorial bench up at the sliding hill at the top of the hill at the park. The gentleman that's making the donation is for Mr. Sidney Chong, and it's in honor and memorial of Anthony Ambrosa.
Excellent. Can I get a motion to accept that donation?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Motion made by Bob, seconded by Roger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen, for bringing that forward.
Thank you for approving it.
Moving on to council committee reports. Charity, I'll start with you. I know you're not on a committee, but do you have anything you want to share?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Darcy?
Nothing.
Bob?
Just wanted to let everybody know, we did have our comprehensive land use meeting, what was it, September 10th, last Wednesday, I believe it was. We've got in 163 surveys from the residents. We've taken all those into account. And within the next month or two, we're going to have a public workshop, which we'll have stations set up hopefully within here so that the public can come in and start making a little more comments on top of the survey that we saw. But we'll keep the public notified.
So I did get a sneak peek at the results of the survey, and I have to just say this one thing. So if anyone took the survey, there were a lot of questions like, what do you like at Van Buren? What would you like to see at Van Buren? What would you like to see more of as far as retail or restaurants? And that was one of the things that they said was they would like to see more locally owned restaurants. And then their comments were, no more pizza shops and no more bars, which when you say that, you know that they're talking about Baldwinsville. But they did recommend Chipotle and Chili's, and if we get a Chipotle here, I'm gonna go broke because my son will be there every single day. But I thought that was really funny that they said no more bars, no more pizzas.
Yeah.
Okay. Jen.
We also had a facility meeting on the 10th of September. We went over some great items. We talked about projects that were completed during the summer program, which was outstanding this year. We also had talked about our 5-year capital plan and the budget for our upcoming work sessions on budgets. One thing that we did find out in our meeting was that there was 17 trees that came down during that nasty storm at the Erie Canal Park.
Wow.
17.
Any chance it was the dead ash ones we needed to remove?
Yes.
You don't have to pay for that.
Thank you, Mother Nature.
And that's all I've got today.
Great, thanks. Roger.
Nothing for me.
Mike.
Nothing.
Okay. Supervisor comments, I only have a couple. I received a letter from the Elbridge Troop 52/1G from the Boy Scouts, asking for recognition in a letter of congratulations on behalf of the Elbridge Troop 52/1G BSA Committee. I'm writing you to request a letter of congratulations for a scout who has reached the rank of Eagle Scout. Since the inception of the Boy Scouts of America, less than 4% of all eligible scouts have reached this mark. So a big congratulations and a shout out to David Sterling. Great job. This is what we need to see more of. So we will be writing a letter of congratulations to this young man, and I just wanted to make a mention of it here because this is amazing, and way to go, David.
Way to go.
Good job.
Future leader.
And the only other thing is I'd like to call an executive session when we're done to discuss a personnel issue. We may or may not have action, so.
Not expected.
Not expected. Okay, so no action. We can close the meeting. Okay, perfect. I'm going to move over to highway comments.
Nothing for tonight.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Actually, road paving is done. So we're done for the year. We're just buttoning up a few little things. If you have any questions, give us a call. And get after it.
You're getting that salt bought for that snow,
We're
right?
buying the salt for the warm summer or warm winter we're gonna have.
Jason, any comments?
Potentially. one of our funding sources wants to do a seeker review for our Idlewood and Birchwood drainage project. You want to do that tonight, or you want to hold off on that resolution?
Yes, I had that written down and I crossed it off because I thought the seeker you did was applicable. Did I miss?
It is, but the board has to pass a resolution
okay.
declaring lead agency.
Yes.
Unlisted action, no detrimental effect on the environment.
Okay, are you going to run through that for me?
I just did.
Okay, so,
Motion to negative, no unlisted actions?
Declare the town board lead agency for the manor seeker, an uncoordinated review for the Idlewood Birchwood Drainage Rehabilitation Project. It's an unlisted action, and there's no adverse environmental impacts associated with the project.
So moved.
Second.
motion made by Darcy, seconded by Jenny. Any questions or comments? So do you want to just speak to it? We've applied for a grant through DASNY.
Yep.
Because we've applied for this grant before, we asked to reallocate some of the funds. We've reallocated them for this project.
Correct.
And we need the board to pass the seeker, so that's why we're bringing it up now.
Right, we did the seeker for the original project, but since it's been reallocated twice, they want us to do seeker for this.
Yep.
I give Nadine a lot of credit for rambling through that every meeting. Do seekers.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you for reminding me about that. I wondered why I had it on here, and I'm like, wait, I think that was before we met today.
Yep. That's all.
Attorney, any comments?
No, as a stand-in tonight, I am just simply here to, try to do Nadine's job. And of course, we'll be talking in executive session on
Okay.
personnel matter, but other than that, I have nothing else to talk about.
All right. All right, with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn our regular meeting and go into till October 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m. and go into executive session? And I would also like to invite our town clerk.
There's somebody that wants to be heard, I think.
Somebody wants to be heard?
Oh my gosh, hi.
Hi, it's my first time here. I just wasn't sure the order of the citizens' comments, and so I didn't acknowledge, I was getting here a little late.
That's okay, come on up if you'd like to speak.
Sure. So,
I didn't even see.
excuse my unprofessional views. I come from a soccer game at Jones Road, just here to comply to everything.
We accept everyone, no matter what.
So, thank you.
You can probably take it off because that doesn't really go down.
So, okay. So what I was interested in discussing was just kind of...
If you could just state your name and address.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Daniel Millen, 93 West Genesee Street. It's in the village of Baldwinsville, but it's still, I think, very, community-minded with respect to, the Baldwin School District zoning, not as much Lysander and Van Buren and the town of Baldwin, those sort of things. But so I was kind of interested, one of the things I wanted to at least inquire about, and because I drive all over on 81, and all the different highways, and I see these sound barriers being put up. And I'm sure there might be a little more traffic on the north side of 81, Cicero, those sort of regions, but I just kind of wanted to inquire and see if the collection had at least been asked about maybe putting those in kind of the Sun Meadows neighborhood region, as well as the Harbor Heights, and even perhaps the plexiglass ones that kind of go across the more grid regions of those highways, like 81 or 81. And it's one that perhaps they do have a little more traffic going on those regions compared to what we have on our highway here, but it still is probably, from my estimates, probably 5,000 to 10,000 cars a day that are going through those neighborhoods. I don't have a direct interest living in those specific regions, but just thinking of trying to provide value to the members of the Baldwinsville community, I thought that for those, it would probably make a great difference. I know it's something that they've already kind of acknowledged prior to the highway there for the neighborhoods that Harbor Heights unit,
Right.
as well as Sun Meadows. But regardless of that, so I'm by training, I'm actually a physician assistant at I went to Des Moines College, and so just reading the literature, there are some health effects of frequent road exposure or road noise exposure, and those sort of things, and they've found increased incidence of strokes, different health things, and so even though yes, they did commit to it, I just feel with I-81 going on, the experience of those sort of construction folk, that maybe it's a bit of a long shot to inquire and see is there any funding available at the state level, but really it's a much smaller region that really just the northbound or westward portion of 690 covering Sun Meadows, and then that portion covering Harbor Heights, as well as maybe plexiglass going across the river, because the sound really does travel on water quite readily, I gotta believe, on both sides. And we can actually hear road noise from the highway all the way from our house in Baldwinville with the windows open. If you're actually outside with the windows closed, obviously you can't. But so I think that's a bit of the acoustics of how the highway's elevated across, but that's like a few mile distance. And so we don't hear the local road noise to the same extent. We can hear that the highway and the bridge, the cars going over it, the 18-wheelers. And so it's something that like isn't essential for us, but I know would improve the actual town of Baldwinville as well as directly some of those members there. And it's just one that I was thought at least I don't know if there's an outlet to go up to the state level that you ask these sort of questions. How necessarily those people in those townships were able to wrap that into the 81 and what kind of considerations are made. I don't think we're far off from qualifying for those sort of things on a smaller scale. They already have the expertise that they're gaining by doing that directly that we could kind of try to piggyback off their 81 development. Just a thought, but.
So David, I want to thank you for coming in because this is exactly what we sit up here and do. We serve our residents and we can't do any better unless people like you come and ask questions like this. We've never had someone who lives in Harbor Heights or Sun Meadows come and suggest that to us. So thank you for bringing that forward. I believe 690 is a state-owned route, so we wouldn't be able to do anything as a town, but we certainly could send a letter of request to the state and say, hey, this is what we're thinking. We're getting comments from our residents. But I'm also just going to see if our engineer could respond to it, and maybe this is something that you've encountered before or you've inquired about, and you can kind of guide us.
Sure. So the thruway in the state historically have said if the road was there before the houses, they're not doing anything. If the road came after the houses, maybe they'll do something. But in Clay, I know they're loosening their stance on that a little bit with the Micron thing going on, and we're going to see increased housing here for Micron, so I assume we'll have increased traffic. So it may be worth a letter to the regional director here in Syracuse, the DOT.
We can always ask.
Yep, we can always ask.
Doesn't hurt.
Okay, Bob, you actually live over in Harbor Heights. Do you hear the noise from your house?
Oh, every day, 4 o'clock in the morning, I hear those tractor trailers downshifting.
Is it bad?
Oh, it's pretty bad, and I have some friends that back right up on that, and they say that,
bad.
3, 4 in the morning, they hear that.
So I live along the river, and I do hear that because I'm right down from the 690 bridge, like the bridge that's right by Case Marina.
Okay.
And so it's east, yeah. And I hear like same thing, the big rigs downshifting, and it's pretty loud.
Yeah.
But I've gotten used to it, so didn't even think there was anything I could do about it. Well, that I probably couldn't because I get it off the bridge. You actually get it off the
And I'm just surprised that you
land
can hear
area.
it. But then again, it does go down the river.
If we're outside, I mean, if we're down in our backyard, you can definitely hear it all the way from the bridge very, very easily. But, it's not super loud. It's not really a problem at that level, but I would just think that it would still improve. The effects and benefits would be far greater than just those directly, really close.
Right.
Really those sort of subtle things that people love the country because they don't have road noise.
Right.
And there's a trade-off, and the benefit of all of those is far greater than if they're living far out, up north or in the country. But it's just if we could try to get the best of both to the best of our ability, I think it would be worthwhile.
Sure.
What I've been fascinated to see is that plexiglass that's gone up. The plexiglass down there on 81. You can see something on going north on the right side, as well as the other highway going across. They've got from those bridges that have plexiglass down there, which that's somehow getting jerry-rigged or maybe a little more, engineered attached to the bridge going across the water. Would be a fascinating feat that would do a lot of value for those in the Harbor Head portion and downstream.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Great, thank you. If you wouldn't mind giving the clerk your email, I can email you a copy of the letter when we send it.
Okay.
All right, thank you for coming. Is there any other comments? I see some new faces in here. Okay. Thank you. All right, then,
Do we have a motion, second on executive?
I don't have a motion or a second.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second.
All right, motion made by Darcy, seconded by Bob. to adjourn our regular meeting to October 1st and go into executive session. No action expected, and town clerk joining. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for coming. It was nice to see some new faces.